Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogbelt333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron IV, Kaiserreich, the Ukrainian state. Last video, we got our land reform going, and we got it kicking about, and all that good stuff. And now we are back. Look at us. Look at us go. I gotta plug my phone in and get my timer going. Running a very professional show today. What can I say? So yeah, apologize for the missing a whole week of uploads. I was out house sitting because I'm trying to make that cash, you know? Get that green. Because I'm going to need it, because I'm going to be out of the country for a couple months, and I need to make sure that I'm able to do stuff and hang out with people and sustain myself. Anyway, where were we last? We're a decent amount of civilian factories, actually. I'm just going to unpause and get us going from here. Very impressed so far for our industrialization. And we got another factory going, so I think we'll go ahead and do... Let's do the Donbass industrial region. Coming along industrialization-wise, which is beautiful. Doing stuff with the Air Force, which I don't entirely know what that means, but we'll keep going with it for now, while we can get the bonuses, of course. The Air Fleet Inspectorate done, which is very nice. What do we want to do next? We can do aviation workshops. Some free anti-air would be pretty nice, I think. This would also give us a free military factory, which is also going to be very, very nice. So we'll do aviation workshops. We have the industrial potential to become a major plane producer, but progress has been lagging behind for a myriad of reasons. The state should seek to support gifted aviation engineers and their companies financially to bolster a base for our own aircraft industry. It seems the League's attempts to court support from the Hetman's former opposition has bore fruit. With the support of Krylo-Osmansk's cooperative associations, LUN has spread its influence across the dissatisfied peasantry. Attempt to appeal to the broader populace, Sistoborsky's party organs have toned down on anti-democratic voices and instead focus on criticizing the slow and inefficient land reform policy of Hetman's government. Under the guise of rural protest movements, the League has started to attract more and more of those who earlier backed the Republicans, drawing from very similar ideas, calls for social equality in the countryside, increased representation of people in the elitist Hetmanite regime. What crypto-Republicans? Crypto-Republicans, what a term. The SRI has beat the INR, interestingly enough. Now Venice is just its own thing. I don't know if I've actually seen that before. That is interesting. A lot of stuff is imploding. Would you look at that? Esperantism came into vogue in Ukraine around the turn of the 20th century, when it was picked up by idealists who believed that a universal language could solve the conflict between the Russian and Ukrainian speakers. Early adopters included men such as Mykola Borovko, Volodymyr Harnet, and Mikhailo Yurkiv, who translated nationalist poetry into the language and distributed the first Esperanto materials in Ukraine. The Galician educators Pavlo Pozmemski and Oretsk Kuzma then inherited the movement, creating the Esperanto Society Progresso. In 1910, the newspaper Ukraina Stelo, or the Ukrainian Star, 3 years later. Their dreams of utopian peace and coexistence in Ukraine were shattered by the advent of the Weltkrieg, during which they went underground. They then resurfaced in 21 and made inroads into central and eastern Ukraine, leading to the creation of the Tutukrino Komitato de Esperanto, the All-Ukrainian Esperanto Committee, to coordinate their activities. In recent years, Esperanto language journals are appearing at Ukrainian universities, and a bust of L.L. Zamenhof, the founder of Esperanto, was even commissioned and put up in display in Odessa. The committee, still headquartered in the Galician town of Kolomia, professes to be nonpartisan and stays out of internal politics of Hetmanite, but radical offshoots are not so cautious. Socialist Esperantists support the Communard Internațională Asocio de Revoluția Esperantiaj Verkosovia, the International Association of Revolutionary Esperanto Writers, and are led by the poet Yevhen Mikulavsky, or Eugenio Michalski, as he's known as in Esperanto, who has long been agitating from his exile in Paris. Antonoli Koch, or Antonolo Ko, leads the right wing of the committee, finding a sympathetic, albeit somewhat befuddled audience among intellectuals aligned with Hetman's coalition and LUN. All in all, this has led to a headache for the Kuzma, who has struggled to rein in their radical members. An odd bunch. I forget Esperanto is a thing occasionally. It's interesting. It's an interesting idea, for sure. Probably give the advantage to the SRI, honestly. If I had to bet. Let's do... We're working on the new... Generations level, that. We could do radio detection. Yeah, let's do that. Guangdong Clique. Insulinda has made peace with the Netherlands. The dominant conservative faction within the Hetmanate traditionally espoused an economic policy that favors state interventionism. I think we already read this one before. I think it's a recurring one. Well, we must remain ever vigilant then. Motherfuckers. Let's get some guys over in Kerch and defend the Kerch Strait. Not relevant at all. Canada's intervening in the war over here. Who are they siding with? That is the question. The PSA. Certainly interesting. And there goes... Yeah, it's going to be a very good game for the Cindies, which makes me a little worried, I'm not going to lie. Aviation workshops are done. Next we can do... Let's do the hour approaches. The Russian what now? Do they go... No, they didn't, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, not in a faction with them. Oh, I understand now. I understand, right. Because the Soviet Union isn't a tag anymore. It's now just the Russian Socialist Republic. Alright, it's not a question of if, but when. Russia's been taken over by revanchist insanity, and we are in the first line to suffer. All we can do is prepare. King of Poland, August IV, has met with Hetman Skopadzki today. Officially, it's intended as a purely courteous visit, meant to strengthen relations between Ukraine and Poland. The king and Hetman received the march of a Serdiuk. Division in Kiev, met with members of the Ukrainian cabinet, and went to inspect the modernized Kiev arsenal. The public was very interested in the royal visit, and Crown Prince Alexander Ferdinand particularly drew much focus from the media in his dashing Polish Air Force uniform. However, the true meaning of this visit is far more serious. Behind closed doors, the leaders discussed earlier Republican unrest and the ever-growing Russian threat. August spoke plainly. He seemed pessimistic about a potential war with Russia, feeding that would only make voices against him loud in Poland. Skoropadsky promised Ukraine's military will be in shape by 40 or 41, as the Great Industrialization Program will finally give the nation the tools to build a powerful army. Prince Alexander seemed the most optimistic out of the three, deeply convinced of the ability of the German army and ultimately the self-preservation of Poles and Ukrainians. The visit concluded with an evening at the Kiev Ballet, and the royal family boarded a train back to Warsaw the following morning. Let's hope it won't come to war. I'm sorry, I have a very important financial thing to do. Let's figure out what we want to do with this extra factory. Could do support equipment. So I'll do that. Website. Alright, sorry about that. What's the color of Mongolia doing? The MAN. It's been a while since I played this game, so I'm a little behind on all this. It's been at least a couple weeks. I was house sitting. I forget if I said that or not. Ooh. So I haven't been able to play. The new update for Kaiserreich has come out. I kept the game open for like 10 days. And I put my computer on a sleep mode, but I guess it woke up sometime there, so I've gained a lot of hours. In fact, how many have I been playing? About almost 300 hours in the last fucking 2 weeks. Almost none of that was actually playing the game. It's just been running on idle. Since the end of a revolt and the failure of the VDR's forces to overthrow the hetman, a sense of relative peace has returned to Ukraine. As the economy continues to recover and the last Republican terror cells are rooted out, however, the leadership in Kyiv has been expressing their worry and dismay at the birth of a new Republican threat in the form of so-called Ukrainian National Rada. Though originally operating in Galicia, those in the VDR to survive the hetman's counteroffensive fled to the Commune of France, as Galicia was deemed too unsafe to return. Upon their arrival, they were welcomed with open arms and wasted no time in reorganizing their efforts. At a conference held in the Palace of Trocadero in Paris, Petliura, as well as other VDR leaders, took the podium to highlight the Republican struggle and carefully describe the next steps to take in order to ensure that a free and democratic Ukraine will come to be in the future. He furthermore highlighted the potential special relationship that the two countries could have. From the beginning of the Ukrainian Revolution in 1917, the newborn republic held a particular interest in forging ties with France, a major power in Europe, which not only had the means to exert influence over Eastern Europe and break the power of German and Russian imperialism, but whose democratic institutions and culture evoked a great admiration among Republican leaders. At the end of the conference, Petliura announced the official formation of the Ukrainian National Rada, a now third international-backed government in exile that aims to overthrow the hetman. Despite the organization going almost unnoticed among the average Ukrainian, its creation has worried some in our government who called for immediate action one way or another to decapitate the movement. These syndicalists won't rest until they see our country destroyed. Not the only people who won't rest until our country is destroyed. Yeah. Alright, the hour is approaching. Puerto Rico declares independence. Interesting. I forget that Puerto Rico, of all places, has a focus tree, and then I see them pop up. That is not funny to me. It's just interesting. Excuse me? Well, that is interesting. What caused Portugal joining the Entente? Yeah, that kind of cucks us a little bit. Shit. Same. Alright, we'll do another focus for now. That's a little annoying. What else do we want to do then? Let's do anti-air measures. Regardless of the state of Air Force, the Russian onslaught will be merciless. We need to develop our own anti-aircraft equipment and manufacture it in large enough quantities to withstand the Russian rain of fire. Spanish Civil War is now over, and the Sindhis have won. Very, very interesting. Morocco has now seized their Iberian holdings. Also interesting. I guess I'll bring this up now. Sort of on stream, but also probably YouTube, which most people are going to be hearing this officially. I'm wanting to do a 24-hour stream. For the first time, because I think I've said this before. I'm studying abroad from September till about mid-December. And so I won't be able to stream or do anything. So I want to make sure I have content for that period of time that I'm gone. So I want to get working on that soon. And so what I'm thinking is doing a 24-hour stream, maybe a few. See if I can raise some money for my adventures abroad. And just kind of generally get my content set up. So if any of you are interested in that or you want to see anything specific series-wise, Kaiserreich, TNO, there's a new TNO update coming out soon. Same with the Kaiserreich update is already out, actually. Lefty China, KMT China. So I'll probably be playing a lot of that. Maybe some more HoI 4 mods, a new campaign trail. Maybe some Europa Universal stuff. I'm not entirely sure yet. Let's do domestic cracking plants. In the process of hydrocarbon cracking, methane from natural gas is processed into petroleum products such as fuel and kerosene. Southern Ukraine has plentiful natural gas, which is most easily processed in coastal cities and then exported via sea. Let's do it. So that's sort of... Oh, look at that. We can start building a lot more stuff. That's excellent. 'We have a very nice industrial base going, honestly. We have a basic close air support. Let's get working on some close air support then. 20 years ago, on April 29, 1918, an all-Ukrainian Congress was assembled of more than 6,000 delegates and claiming to represent millions of Ukrainians. The Congress's chief demand was an end to the deficiencies of the Republican government and a restoration of a hetmanate, the traditional government of Ukraine under the leadership of Pavlo Skoropadsky. Skoropadsky would arrive by car, learning that the Republic was vulnerable, and greeted warmly as someone who could bring the country together. Throughout the night, supporters of a hetman took over the state bank and the Ministry of the Interior with little resistance, with the backing of Hermann von Eichhorn, the general leading the German military administration in Ukraine. Though the hetmanate and its institutions become well known among those in the country, the same cannot be said for those outside of it, who often express confusion as to what a hetmanate is. Fundamentally, the hetmanate of today is a monarchy. Skoropadsky retains power comparable to those of other European monarchs. The primary difference from more conventional monarchs, aside from its elective nature, something with historical precedent, but essentially unheard of today, is a matter of culture. The title of hetman calls back to the Zaporizhian host, connecting Ukrainian statehood to the host's independence from Poland, and conferring the office with a military significance, especially when it was being pitted against the progressive, Western-inspired People's Republic. The hetmanate represents a more conservative vision, even compared to other monarchies, deliberately harkening back to a time centuries ago. The state's cultural ministry has often tried to exploit this image abroad. The Ukrainian image, often sold to foreigners, is that of a country removed from the woes of modern society, where people are closer to the roots and yearn to be free, especially from certain Eastern powers. Fascinating. That is actually really interesting. Whoa. Who would have thought this would happen? I did. I knew exactly what was going to happen. We need to do Deniferes. Let's do this then. Construction of extensive hydroelectric dams over Dnipro Rapids started some years ago, but they faltered due to various reasons. Let's get working on that. Mykola Sisoborski's organization has turned from a right-wing book club into a broad organization uniting various nationalists, Republicans, and dissatisfied conservatives under one banner. As a show of their strength, a march has been organized to go for Kiev's historical landmarks. Yevhen Onatsky, chief organizer of the events, issued a statement describing a march as a celebration of the Ukrainian nation and its achievements, though the law enforcement of the capital has a more pessimistic view. While the speech went on peacefully, it certainly raised quite a bit of eyebrows. Many speeches held as part of the event were radical in nature, and especially Dmytro Donstyov's presentation left little to the imagination. The League demanded the hetman to take immediate action to correct the course of the state. The demands of the League include distributing land to faithful Ukrainian people, removing corrupt bureaucrats and businessmen from the hetman's closest circles, and appointing an army minister friendly to the League's cause. Even more worrying was how many lower officers were involved in the protest in a private role. And the Army widespread opinion is that the League is a good patriotic movement whose goals are admirable, even if their means are slightly suspicious. Sistoborsky himself is a colonel, and has developed quite a following in the military. Well, let's try to limit their influence. Right? Oh, well, there's only one way to find out, so we'll have to get back to that next time, friends. Do these don't actually take up consumer I'll get working on some of that then. But yeah, I gotta leave it here, but thanks for always watching. Like, dislike if you didn't, leave any comments, feedback down in the comment section below. I read all the comments again, appreciate any all feedback you might have for me. Check out my various links down in the description box below. Hit the sub button if you want to keep up to date with uploads weekdays as well as occasional Saturdays. And yeah, that's it for now, my friends. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye now.